We are born equal, equal. Most important is the soul. Religious practices have control. Be yourself. Experience the whole. Okay, that didn't come out. I need to stop criticizing myself on my broadcast. But anyways, so it is the 15th of the 8th month of 1434 and 1440. On the 17th of the 4th month of 1434, I wrote Harold Klemp, Eckankar, and Blacks for you to consider. When Harold Klemp became a living Eckmaster over the Eckankar Corporation in 1981, his speeches started as a singing of "Hugh" came to a stop. Some people would close their eyes and, he'd sneak up on stage. Others would have their eyes open. But this was, as they call it, a song of love to God as divine. Even after he was voted leader of Eckankar and Mahanta, or Wayshower, in August of 1983, Harold Klemp, still and sole Eckmaster, sole living Eckmaster. At that point, there was two, and he wasn't called Mahanta. Harold Klemp still started his speeches after a group spiritual exercise. Now he says things like and yeah as people clap and cheer. One finds a greater degree of attention paid to the existence of dark-skinned members than their numbers among the group indicate. Harold Klemp also seems more pleased to mention his black followers. Those who worship him and picture him in their private moments and credit him for the things that go on in his life, to the extent that people who worship God typically don't credit God. During his days as a traveling self-proclaimed God-man and the living word, Wa-Z, or Harold Klemp, as the secret doctrine, gave special attention to traveling in Africa, spreading the word to worship him. The Mystic World of Eckankar, Volume 45, Number 1, was meant to arrive in the mail of members in February of 2013. This quarterly newsletter for March 2013 starts with an article called "A Shake-Up, Caffeine, and Some Birds You Might Want to Use." Well, they use information from that title to look at the members section at www.eckankar.com, or most of the state, regional, or national sites. And, there may be something in a local newsletter that's part of the local leader will individually give out the code for the month. The start of this article mentions a Nigerian who pictured real and imaginary leaders of Eckankar sweeping out spider webs from the government building he worked for. I wonder if the spider webs are really a secret message of a secret reference to politicians. Due to this mental exercise, Harold Klemp gives him credit for changes that took place in the organization, even though he is behind in receiving salary. But the guy is kind of, all over the world, the lower class are treated like slaves. It's not just the blacks, but the African Temple of Ek. Well, there's two actually that are bigger than the one in Chanhassen. I don't know if it has a different name as the second physical temple of Ek out of 6 claimed for the physical plane, was dedicated in the August 2012 African seminar in Accra, Ghana. Around 6,000 people were there from around the world to hew in a room with a poster of Harold Klemp with the words, "The Road to Spiritual Freedom" on it. They claim that despite the religious freedoms experienced by all groups in certain periods there, that only Eckankar had brought all of them together. Obviously, Eckankar and a couple, and a Christian and a Muslim later, and I don't know if there was even a Jew there, or some other small group. That only Eckankar had brought all of them together in the history of Ghana. In a way, this is true because Eckankar is really a combination of a series of what people call religions. As one can guess, it is not easy to find the white people in the crowd, as they are less common there than in the general population. Yeah, even in Eckankar, even in Africa, Eckankar attracts a higher degree of blacks than they do whites, but not in America. The happiest looking group is a bunch of black men on a boat in the Forcados River to Ikpidama, Nigeria. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce Ikpidama. Ikpidama, Nigeria. They are 10 Vahanas, or missionaries, with the big framed photo of Harold Klemp going to share the message of this white man to 37 people who were attendees of the presentation who never heard of Eckankar. The pictures from around the world don't draw extra attention to the pictures from around the world don't draw extra attention to the Negroid subspecies of humans as compared to the Asiatic and Caucasoid subspecies of humans. But the letters probably did, as places of those thinking Harold Klemp for dreams and other good in their life were of areas where darker skin is most common. One letter blames the problem of Eckes on not using the tools Harold Klemp, or whoever heads Eckankar at the time, gives them. Ask the Master section as someone asking advice about joining a stereotypical black social group, a dance crew. The answer says to do things in the name of the Mahanta, in the same way Christians do with Jesus. Then it says, the detachment they call you towards in Eckankar is not slavery's collar, as if his way to refer to blacks in a number of his talks, including a better friend of the Mahanta, didn't make them out to be different beyond actual differences their race or nationality gave them. He frequently reminds members of his affection and That is how the mystic world of Eckankar, March 2013 ends. Now, the actual membership of Eckankar is unknown, but if the two biggest temples are in Africa, which are usually just completely empty, and even in the seminars, it looks like they're almost completely empty, there's an indication that there's tens of thousands of members in Africa, even though the Muslim population in their biggest temple is bigger than more of than the entire world population of Eckankar. But just like in Minnesota, most of the membership is, centered around those temples. But so, Barak Bashad, may the blessings be.